ATK in this thing. TKG, what is good with y'all, man? Listen, we are talking about Sick by Earl Sweatshirt. If you don't know how I do my album reviews, pretty much what I do is I do a little quick overview of the album, talk about it right quick. Then I talk about the best 3-track runs, the better half of the album, the best and worst song, and the main positives and flaws of the album. And I will be telling you if I would listen to the album again. And then, I give an overall rating of the album, saying if it's good, bad, above average, great, goated, no matter the case. Y'all know what we're getting into. So just right off bat, man, this album was different, okay? If you were expecting this to sound like I don't like shit, I don't go outside, don't listen to this. Like, this is not for you. If you want this to sound like Doris or the Earl self-titled album, like, don't listen to this. It's not what you're going to you're not gonna like it if you want old Earl. You're not gonna fuck with it if you want pre 2015 Earl. Now, if you like some rap songs and Feet of Clay, then by all means, this is probably going to be one of your favorite albums because it's, it has that sort of aesthetic to it. Earl Sweatshirt has been one of my favorite rappers since I discovered him. I have always loved his sound, but I would be lying to you if I didn't say that I don't find myself too huge a fan of his new style. Everything after some rap songs has been iffy at best. And I mean, I've liked some songs, but a lot of songs I find myself shaking my head at and just really hoping he doesn't pull a Chance the Rapper on us and, just turns into something completely different. I mean, it worked for Tyler. He wound up ditching the whole horrorcore sound and turning into a more PG and, just a better sounding artist altogether. But Earl Sweatshirt on this album, I'm not gonna lie to you, there are some songs where you can absolutely hate them, and there's some songs where you can absolutely just be just okay with them. There's nothing on this album that blows your mind. Definitely didn't blow my mind. I mean, there's probably 2 tracks on here that I really, really like, being 2010 and I'm so like. By me even saying on a 10-track album by Earl Sweatshirt, there's only 2 songs that I mess with heavily is kind of sad to me. This to me is Earl Sweatshirt's, I would say, bottom tier as far as his projects go. And I'm saying that, but does that mean that it's bad? Lower tier for Earl Sweatshirt could be one of the best albums of the year still. Well, we could talk about the 3-track run and go on, and y'all can make that decision for yourselves pretty much. The best 3-track run will most definitely have to be Lobby, Titanic, that's the song that I was going to say, and Fire in the Hole. I really, really like Titanic. Different vibe, different flow from Earl. Usually don't get that continuous, it's stuff like that. Like it's a very nice song. It's a very, I love the beat. Love that this was the song. He put this out as a single, and this was the song I listened to, and I said, "Oh yeah, if all the songs sound like this is about to be one of my favorite albums." And he didn't make any other songs that sounded like this. Everything else kind of sounded a lot different. Lobby is a pretty good song. Nothing too wrong with it, and Fire in the Hole, the last song on the album, it definitely had a nice vibe to it. It's like half Earl rapping and then half like just the beat riding out pretty much. So I mean, whenever there's songs like that, I just use the rest of the song for freestyling for myself. So I mean, special treat for me, I suppose. But I mean, yeah, it's the best 3-track run. I really wish that 2010 was a part of this 3-track run because, yeah, it was dope. If only Sick was a better song, then that would have contributed to the 3-track run, being the first 3 songs on the album, which would have been absolutely amazing. But the better half of this album is the second half. I really, really didn't like Tabula Rasa with Arm and Hammer and Sick, the song. Um, the flow on Sick is just fucking so bad. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what Earl was going for there. He kind of sounded offbeat a lot of times, and spoiler, but it is the worst song on the album. Tabula Rasa, I mean, you know, when you have Arm and Hammer kind of just saying whatever, and then kind of sounding offbeat, and then you have Earl also saying whatever, and then also sounding a little offbeat, it definitely does not mesh for a good song. I will say that much. So those two songs alone just ruin the first half. Even though 2010 was the best song in the first half, I believe carries the album. That and Titanic once again. But you know, those two songs alone, Tabula Rasa and Sick, were just absolutely bad. Like I would take those songs off in a heartbeat. Best song on here is 2010. Like I said, just a nice throwback. Not too much of a throwback, but I remember when Earl had dropped The Mint for some rap songs, and I remember listening to that song and feeling so, you know, like so good, because I said, man, if the rest of the album sounds like this, it's about to be a fucking vibe. And guess what? The rest of the album kind of didn't sound like that. It was probably the only, you know, on beat, coherent song on some rap songs. Well, one of. You know, December 24th was another song that was pretty good. 2010 was the first single drop for this album, and when I heard it, I said, yup, like, this is about to be it. And Titanic came out after that, and I was like, yeah, this album's about to slap. Like, both of these songs are fucking dope. And I know Earl knows he tricked us, because he put out the two best sounding songs on the album, the two most complete sounding songs on the album, and it wound up sounding complete until you listen to the rest of the album. But that bows into the worst song, which I think is Sick. Slow, very, very quick runner-up being Tabula Rasa, like I said. Arm and Hammer and Earl just do not mesh. If it was a different beat, they would have actually been on beat for most of the song. I'd have said that it would have been had a better rating. You know, wouldn't have dragged the album down so much. But Sick, I just don't know, man. It's like a TK flow on a Benny the Butcher type beat. Like, it just doesn't make sense, and it doesn't sound good either. Like, I don't remember if, yeah, Sick was the song where Earl sounded very away from the microphone. Like, he sounded like he was standing 6 feet away, like he was social distancing from the studio for a second. Like, it was just somebody he didn't fuck with in the studio, and he just had to record from the outside. That song just sounds so replaceable. Like, it just did not need to be here. There's just certain sounds from Earl that I really don't like, and he's one of my favorite artists, and I'm saying that. And not to say that we should only praise our favorite artists, because that's what Playboi Carti fans do. But yeah, this shit here, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I am this song just, when I play it in my head, it makes me upset, because it doesn't belong here. Take this and Tabula Rasa off, and I feel like this album has a much better reception. But with Sick being your third song on the album, it's gonna give a terrible impression for the rest of the listen. We have main positives. I mean, the lyricism's good. You know, there's that. I mean, some of the beats are good, but I'm not gonna count that. Like, yeah, album's gonna have more good beats than bad beats. The lyricism, that's pretty much all I can give it for. These are main positives. There are other positives, but this is the main one that stands out the most. Earl's lyricism is always top tier. I feel like he's still gonna be one of the top lyricists in the game when it's all said and done. But that's really all I can really say. This pops right out with this album. Main flaws most definitely has to be the well, Sick is a main flaw. The flows on here are kind of iffy. The inconsistency on some songs is just absolutely annoying. Yeah, it's disgusting that I even have to say this about Earl Sweatshirt of all artists. He goes for this artistic MF Doom types flow, and if you're an MF Doom fan, or again, if you like some rap songs and Feet of Clay, you're really gonna like this album. You're gonna like songs that sound like this, but it's just, yeah, I wasn't too big a MF Doom listener. I wasn't too big a some rap songs fan, and therefore I'm not too huge a fan of some of the flows picked for this album. It's just, it was what it was, man. I can't lie to you. It all could have been better. Overall, and the songs should be on your screen now. This album could have been better. It really could have been better. I do think this is in the lower tier of all Earl Sweatshirt projects. This got a 7 out of 10. I'm talking about it like it got a 5 or whatever, but 7 out of 10, and I wasn't being generous with none of my ratings either. Just some songs that I really wouldn't go back to. I mean, you want to give this a lower rating, you can. You want to say this is one of the worst albums of the year, I'm not going to go crazy about it. It really is not that crazy. It really is not that good. It's barely better than Gunna's DS4, as a matter of fact. That album was just like this album is for Earl Sweatshirt is one of his worst. For Gunna is probably one of his best. It's just how that works. But this definitely could have been better. Very disappointed in Earl Sweatshirt. I am not a big fan of this new, flow. It's just so different, man. I'm used to different from Earl, so the reason why I'm even saying most of this is because I'm used to excellence from Earl. But to get stuff like this is gonna make me want to not be a fan of his. Would I return to this album? I didn't ask that question before, but would I return to this album? No, I very much would not. This album left a very sour taste in my mouth, and unfortunately, there are only 2 songs on here that I will listen to again: 2010 and Titanic. Everything else is just, it's all right. Like it'll probably get a listen. Probably not though. I'm being honest here. Earl needs to take a break. Listen to his older stuff, listen to his newer stuff, and really ask himself, like, is he comfortable with what he's putting out? And if he really is comfortable with the stuff that he's putting out, if Sick really is one of something that he thinks is the top tier to him, then by all means. I can't agree with him, but I must respect his decision considering he's the musical genius here. He's the musical talent. I am not. I am simply a review. I'm just reviewing the album. I'm simply a music YouTuber. I cannot sit here and say that I'm the genius in this and I know what's best for Earl. Only Earl knows what's best for Earl. So, 7 out of 10. It is what it is, man. It could be better. Maybe I listen to it a few more times, like y'all listen to Whole Lotta Red a few more times, and I think it'll be a 10 out of 10. Possibly the best album of the year. I may even say it's the best album of the decade. Maybe Rolling Stone will put it number 1 and say that it was a generation-defining album, and that it has so much impact. Yeah. I'm not going to stop with this Whole Lotta Red shit, by the way. But beyond any case, that is all I had to talk about. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about this album. 2 videos today. I don't usually do it, but, I had to today. Beyond any case, man, vibe, have a good time, and I will see y'all later, man. Peace out.
Being kicked in, being kicked in, man, being kicked in, wow.